Corey Stewart, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, is with us. Got some meet and greets coming to our area, which we will find out a little bit more about. Corey, welcome to the program again.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
We always appreciate you being here, and I know probably the next week and a half going to be pretty crazy for you and the campaign and others as we head into the primary.
Yeah, it's crunch time. We're out every single day. My wife and I, Maria and I, are traveling around the state. It's kind of fun, but it is a lot of work, that's for sure.
Well, the good thing is you get to see a lot of people. You get to take in their problems, their concerns, and I know that's got to help at the end of the day.
It does. No poll, nothing else can make up for the just direct contact with the voters. To feel how people are, what their concerns are out there, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. And by and large, I got to tell you, people are feeling pretty good about this president, about the status of the country, the improving the economy, and that's all going to be good for Republicans this November.
Well, here we are. This is day 500 for President Trump. Is the president getting it done?
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, and look, he's doing it with not a lot of help from even other Republicans up on the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But he's we got the big tax cut. People are starting to feel the effects of that. Their take-home pay is increasing. Business is improving. Manufacturing is starting to come back to the United States. People are feeling better, and that's due in large part to President Trump. And you've got to hand it to him. He's done a great job so far.
Do you think with Rudy Giuliani on board on the legal team, he can kind of keep this whole Mueller investigation focused and let's get over this thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think Giuliani's done a real good job of kind of keeping keeping everybody disciplined. And I think that it's what's happening here is that the Democrats are so focused on the investigation and all this other stuff but Americans really, at the end of the day, they don't care as much about that as they do about the improving economy and the fact that the president's getting the job done, and that's why it's going to be a good year for Republicans this November.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you and your campaign. You've been gaining campaign dollar momentum on Tim Kaine. Are Virginians just done with him in the Senate?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, the question that keeps coming up as I'm traveling around Virginia, people are asking this question: what has Tim Kaine done? What has he accomplished? And even Democrats are asking that question, and there's nothing he's done. Even when he was governor, he didn't accomplish anything. He didn't solve the transportation problem. He didn't solve anything like that. He raised taxes. That's about it. And the last thing he did is shut down the rest stops. And then if you ask people what has he done in the United States Senate, people are just scratching their heads because he really hasn't accomplished anything. That's a real problem for Tim Kaine, and that's the question we're going to be asking leading up to the election in November.
Corey Stewart, you had a rally in Fairfax to defeat MS-13 over the weekend. Why the issues over calling MS-13 members animals? I mean, what should they be called? Pillars of the community?
Well, they should be called savages. Look, the MS-13 is a brutal. They're worse than animals. They are evil, absolute evil. They kidnap teenage girls and assault them, kill them, do some really horrible things. And they're just it is a gang that we have to be absolutely ruthless in rooting them out, finding them, and most of them are illegal aliens. And finding them and putting them in prison for a long, long time, and at a bare minimum deporting them out of this country.
I think what confuses me the most with that is the fact that the very people that they're supposed to be representing are the ones most impacted by these, animals. The Hispanic community, the Black communities are the ones that a lot of these gangs are going into. These are the children being attacked and raped and killed and trying to be brought into these gangs. What is the problem?
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Democratic Party, is that it's gone so far to the extreme left it's not the Democratic Party of yesterday. This is a Democratic Party that has gone so extremely left that the Democratic Party, Tim Kaine, and the others are defending MS-13. Nobody ever thought that the Democrats would go that radically left, but they are, people are waking up to that. I saw that in Fairfax County. We've got a real good chance of really improving. Republicans improving in Fairfax County, Northern Virginia, because people are so sick and tired of Democrats coddling the violent left like Antifa, but also like MS-13, which have just ravaged communities up in Fairfax County and in other places around Virginia.
And what was it over the weekend? I think Mike Huckabee even talked about, with Nancy Pelosi coming out and kind of defending MS-13 by not calling them animals. He said it's a beautiful thing. Just keep her where she is.
Yeah, he says that's his prayers, that she'll stay as a spokesperson. But as I pointed out earlier this morning, the left seems to have this uncanny ability to stick together with the lie. To watch the emperor parade downtown with no clothes on and go, look at that beautiful outfit. It blows my mind.
Republicans, we have our problem. The problem on the Republican side is we tend to be weak and back down and just never really, go for the jugular. The problem with the Democrats is just the opposite. They always go too far. The left always goes too far. And at the beginning, of course, they were the party of working people. They were a party of immigrants. Well, now they're not a party of working people. They're the party of not even immigrants. They're the party of illegal aliens who commit crimes. They've gone so crazy. And by the way, kind of on a similar note, look what they've done with Antifa. There's violent thugs, faces. Tim Kaine's son is a member of them. And then it comes out yesterday or the day before, it was reported on Fox News yesterday, that they broke into a prayer rally. Antifa broke into a prayer rally and started knifing people up in Oregon. And this is an organization that Tim Kaine's son is a member of. They've gone so extremely far to the left. Even in California, where there's now a prediction that it was in the Washington Post of all newspapers. Hard to believe, but it was. But instead of a blue wave in California, it's going to be a red tide as voters wake up and realize that the Democratic Party has just gone totally nuts.
Unbelievable. The whole statue thing has settled down, or seems to have, but I know last week you were actually dealing with some schools that want to change their name because it reflects some of our past. Confederates' name, I think the school's Washington Lee, maybe. What? Why? I mean, did they not realize this is going to cost them more money just to change the name? It's still the same school.
So in Arlington County, there's a school that's over 90 years old. It's called Washington Lee High School. It's a great school, by the way.
Yeah.
It's got a great past, and it was actually one of Virginia's. In fact, it might be Virginia's first desegregated high school. They have a great tradition up there, and it's in Arlington. Well, the school board in Arlington, of course, dominated by Democrats up there, has decided that they want to take the name of Lee and possibly George Washington's name off of their high school. And now, even as far Democratic as Arlington County is, people have reacted in a very negative way about this. So I stood out there at a press conference with several members, alumni of Washington Lee, last week to essentially protest this move by the school board, and people want to keep the name. Now the thing is, they've done a poll, and they found that even in Arlington County, that more than 70% of the citizens of Arlington County want to keep the name unchanged. They want to keep it as Washington Lee, but the Democrat school board up there is bound and determined to go ahead and change it anyway. That's how far out of touch they are, even in Arlington. We might be winning because of issues like this. I'm telling you, this November, could be winning not just Fairfax, but just doing extremely much better than usual in places like Arlington and Alexandria.
I know recently Atlantic Research came out with a new poll that this was done the 14th through the 18th of May, and it has you in the lead of all other candidates 3-1. You have 32%, Nick Freitas 9%, and E.W. Jackson 5%. What is the magic to hanging on to that lead with such stiff competition?
They got to work hard, and that's what I've been doing. We're going to be running ads. We have been running a lot of radio ads and TV ads. We're going to be running those all the way through Election Day. But there is no substitute for getting out there and working hard and meeting with folks. And so that's why we're in Southwest all today, all day tomorrow, and then tomorrow night we're going to be wrapping up this part of the leg of the tour in Lynchburg at McAdoo's at 7:30 p.m. So if people could stop on by, that'd be great. But that's how you got to do it. You've got to, and the thing is, you can't be afraid of standing up on controversial issues like, standing up for historical monuments and, standing up against illegal immigration. You can't be afraid of those things. And most importantly, you have to stand up with the President of the United States through thick and thin. You've got to be loyal to him, as I've been, and that's how I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, you're going to be at the McAdoo's 7:30 tomorrow evening. You can RSVP at the website and also RSVP on Facebook. Before you go, Corey, this is the no-brainer from the weekend. Over the weekend on CBS Sunday Morning, Bill Clinton said the media was friendly to Obama. Not exactly a shocking statement there, is it?
Well, hey, let me tell you something. People look through this media bias from CNN and MSNBC and the Washington Post. They look through that. They've got a lot of other media sources, including social media. People are smart. They're waking up, and they're going. They're taking our country back. And our first step is 2016. Now the president needs support in 2018, and that's why I'm asking for people to vote on Tuesday, June 12th.
Again, meet and greet for our Roanoke friends at the Green Goat. There on Wiley Drive in Wasena Park at 5 tomorrow, and then you'll be at a meet and greet at McAdoo's on Candler's Mountain Road tomorrow evening here in the Hill City at 7:30. Thank you very much for being on with us this morning.
Always a pleasure.